Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Friday, March the 15th. We got an 8-game Friday slate. I'm going to go through each position, like always, talk about some of the guys that I like on this 8-game slate, work our way through the player pool, and I will give my 5 plays for DraftKings and 5 plays for Yahoo. These are 5 players that I do like specifically for each site. Before we do get started, though, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. It does mean a lot, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new uploads. But let's go ahead and start off at point guard for today. So at the top here we have James Harden at 11K. He gets a really good matchup today at home against the Suns. Harden, I think, is definitely in play here. Looking at some of the other studs, though, on this slate, that's the only concern I have. Giannis at 10-9 against the Heat, I feel like I could probably shy away from. LeBron might not even play today. It's a back-to-back for the Lakers, and they've said that they want to limit James on back-to-backs, maybe even rest him. So there's a chance LeBron isn't even available today and he rests. That's some news we're going to have to watch and see on Friday. If LeBron rests for this game, then that could definitely open up some value, could make like guys like Rondo, Kuzma a lot better. Do want to see the status of LeBron. There's a pretty good chance he rests. But Harden does stand out above Giannis and LeBron. He would definitely be the guy I would pay up for. But once you get to like the 9K range, this is where it gets a little tricky. Do you pay up for Harden at 11K, or do you take the savings, maybe go to a guy like Joel Embiid? Really good spot against the Kings. Bradley Beal just playing so well lately, playing massive minutes, 9,500 at home against the Hornets in a fast-paced game, a high-scoring game, a game that should be competitive. You have like Drummond against the Lakers, who I really like. Even Dame Lillard at 9K against the Pelicans, really good spot there. You got Kemba at 8,200 against the Wizards. My only concern is that some of those are paying up for Harden. My only concern paying up for Harden is that there's so many good 8K, 9K plays that could easily go for 55 to 60. So I don't think Harden's going to be a core play for me. I will have him in a few lineups. Like if I'm making 20 lineups, I'll probably play Harden in like 3 or 4. But I don't think he's going to be a guy I go massively heavy on today. Point guard, I really like guys like Kemba Walker, who I mentioned. Kemba Walker definitely stands out to me. 8,200 matchup with the Wizards. This is a spot where Kemba's had a ton of success. He was pretty popular last time he faced the Wizards, and he kind of let everyone down, including myself. I think Kemba bounces back here and puts up a really good game against this Wizards team. So I do like Kemba quite a bit. 8,200 if you do want to go to him. Chris Paul definitely stands out at 6,900, just being too cheap. I like him a lot on both sites. He's not as greatly priced on Yahoo. He's at 31 over here. If you want to try and find the $7 to get up to Kemba, I think that makes a ton of sense. I'm going to roll with Kemba on Yahoo because the $7 difference, I don't think that's enough savings for me to want to play Paul over Kemba on Yahoo. But on DraftKings, getting Paul at 6,900, Kemba at 8,200, pretty big difference. If you can find the salary to get up to Kemba, I don't mind doing that. But I do like both guys a ton. I like Chris Paul a lot here at 6,900. Obviously, I like Kemba as well on Yahoo, but Chris Paul at 6,900 is just too cheap for the upside he brings. I know he hasn't looked that great lately, but he's back to playing 34, 35 minutes in competitive games. It's a really good matchup against the Suns. Obviously, there's a chance this game blows out, but Paul does play his minutes to where if the game blows out, he might still get some run in the fourth quarter just because of how they stagger his minutes. So I do like Chris Paul a ton here. I think he can easily return 6x value on this price tag. I think he's a really good play on DraftKings. He's a good play on Yahoo as well, but I would try and find the $7 to get up to Kemba if I could. But another guy I want to talk about is Elfrid Payton. He's 6,600 on DK. I think that price tag's pretty good. I don't think it's like a cheap, like he's a must play or anything. I think he's a really good play though. But on Yahoo, where Elfrid Payton's only 25, I like him a ton over here. He just feels a little bit underpriced on Yahoo. On DraftKings, he's pretty reasonably priced. They adjusted his price to where it should be. On Yahoo, he should probably be like around the same price as Rondo, maybe even around the same price as Chris Paul. 25 for Payton right now is just too cheap. He's playing big minutes. He's playing 30 to 34 minutes, depending on if the game is competitive. With Drew Holiday off the floor, Elfrid Payton has been very productive lately. His 3 games without Drew Holiday, 32, 51, and 57 fantasy points. He's got back-to-back triple-doubles. Had a triple-double against the Hawks. Tough matchup against Milwaukee, and he put up a triple-double against them. The defensive matchup here is not great. Portland does play good team defense, but they do play at a fast pace, and this game is expected to be high-scoring. It does have a high total. So I think as long as this game can stay competitive, you could definitely get another stealing game out of Elfrid Payton here. So I like him quite a bit on both sides. Definitely going to be a guy I have in pretty decent amount of my lineups today. But now looking at other point guards we could go to. If we're looking for value here, there's an injury here we need to watch. Reggie Jackson is questionable. I don't love Reggie Jackson if he plays, but if he's out, then Ish Smith is really good value at 3,900, very, very cheap. If Reggie Jackson is out, Ish Smith would become a great value. And also, Dennis Smith Jr. is questionable. I don't love him if he plays, but if he's out, that would open up Emmanuel Mudiay at 4,200 as a value play. So Mudiay and Ish Smith could both be potential value plays we go to at point guard. But let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard now. So at this position, I do like Bradley Beal a ton today. I mentioned him in this game against the Hornets, a fast pace, projected to be high-scoring game, a game that's projected to be close. Bradley Beal should have a lot of success here. He's done really well in this matchup so far this year. When the Hornets and Wizards have faced off this year, it's been like a close game every time. It's been high-scoring every time. I don't think it changes here. I think you see another high-scoring game and another competitive game. There's a lot of players to like in this game, and obviously Bradley Beal is one of them, along with Kemba Walker. Do like paying up for Bradley Beal at shooting guard if you can find a way to. But if we're going to the mid-range and looking for value here, in the mid-range, not a ton stands out to me. I think my favorite plays would probably be like Jeremy Lamb, just trying to get some exposure to that Wizards-Hornets game. Jeremy Lamb at 5,800. I don't mind if you want to go to him. He did put up like 50 DraftKings points the last time he faced the Wizards. Had a really good game off the bench. If you're going for value here, I don't think you can play Ish Smith here. I don't think you can play Mudiay here, so those guys aren't eligible at shooting guard. Looking for cheap guys, though, at shooting guard, really nothing stands out. Shooting guard's probably a position I'm going to try and fit in Bradley Beal if I can. If I can't, then a guy like Jeremy Lamb I think makes sense. Satoransky you could go to if you want to go there. Maybe some Chris Dunn. Not as interested in Dunn now that Levine's back, but Dunn's still cheap at 5,400 to where you could get some upside out of him from that price tag. But let's go ahead and move on to small forward now. So at small forward, I don't really like the top options today. Giannis is in a tough spot. Road matchup against the Heat. I would rather just find the $100 and play James Harden in a great matchup against the Suns. And then LeBron, we know, is going to be limited. And like I said at the beginning of the video, this is a back-to-back, so there's a chance LeBron doesn't even play today. So don't really want to pay up at small forward. Ben Simmons, you could go to at 8,500, but if we just look at some of the other players around that price range, like I mentioned back at point guard, I would rather play Kemba Walker, and he is 300 less. So don't really see myself paying up for small forward at all today. I think the mid-range probably offers some good plays, whether you want to go to a guy like Otto Porter. I think he makes a lot of sense at 6,700. Kyle Kuzma, if LeBron does rest today, would definitely be a great play at 6,200. Even though the matchup against Detroit's not that great, Kuzma without LeBron would definitely become a really good option if you wanted to go there. Jabari Parker I like quite a bit today. 5,800 on DraftKings. You could maybe look elsewhere. You could go to like a guy like Jeremy Lamb for cheaper, or a guy like Batum for cheaper. If you can find a way to get up to Kuzma, you could do that. But on Yahoo, where he's at 21 and he's at power forward, you obviously have to play at least one power forward. I do like Jabari Parker quite a bit. There's a chance he does start today because Trevor Ariza is questionable. And if Ariza were to sit for this game, then Jabari Parker would most likely draw the start. It would be looking at pretty nice minutes. Even playing off the bench with Ariza healthy, Jabari Parker's still been playing about 26 to 27 minutes a game. He's a very productive player when he gets the run. He can give you a lot of upside if he gets the minutes. And if Trevor Ariza sits today, I think Parker probably starts and plays about 32, 33 minutes. Even if Trevor Ariza plays, you can still get a really good game out of Parker here. He could put up 40 fantasy points and limited time off the bench in 26, 27 minutes. So Jabari Parker I like a lot today. I like him even more, though, if Trevor Ariza is out, which him being questionable, there's a chance he sits today. And now looking at other small forwards. For value here, Marvin Williams is a guy that I do like for value. I like this matchup for Marvin Williams. I think he just put up like a 40-burger against the Wizards when they faced off a few games ago. Marvin Williams would probably have a lot of success again. Cody Zeller is out, so if you want to go to him at 4,600, he does stand out as a value play. But let's go ahead and move on to power forward now. Talk about this position. So at power forward today, a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge stands out a bit. He gets a matchup with the Knicks, which we obviously love. Aldridge is not usually a guy I pay up for most slates, especially on a slate with 8 games, 9 games. When you have guys like Kemba for cheaper, even maybe like a Ben Simmons for 100 less, it's hard for me to prioritize Aldridge on this slate, but if I can spend at power forward, he's probably the first guy that I'm going to look to spend on. But again, I think power forward offers good mid-range options. Bobby Portis is a guy that I really like today, especially on DraftKings since you can play him at power forward. On Yahoo, he's not as interesting because you have to play him at center, and there's a value center I really like, and there's a stud center I really like. So on Yahoo, it's a bit different. On DraftKings, where you can play Portis at power forward, like I said, I think he's very appealing here. He's 6,100, which is a pretty nice price for Bobby Portis, especially in this game that's projected to be high scoring and it's projected to be played at a fast pace. Plus, Cody Zeller is doubtful, unlikely to play, so Bobby Portis will most likely be matched up with Willie Hernangomez. I do really like Willie Hernangomez today as value play, but he's not a very good defender, so Portis could definitely put up a nice game here against Hernangomez. I think he probably plays about 30 minutes if this game is competitive. He gives you a ton of upside if he gets the minutes. Even in 25 minutes against the Hornets in his last game, he had some foul trouble, 5 fouls in that game. He still put up 41 fantasy points in 25 minutes. If you can stay out of foul trouble here, you probably get 30 minutes and probably like 40 fantasy points out of Portis. So I like him a ton at 6,100 on DK. But now looking for other power forward plays. Nemanja Bjelica did start on Thursday night. We got that news shortly before the game started for the Kings. He started ahead of Bogdanovic. We'll see how he does Thursday night, even with Marvin Bagley back. We'll see how he does. If he does really well Thursday night and Bagley doesn't play a ton of minutes, then I would imagine the same thing happens here. Bagley might even rest since it's a back-to-back, so Bjelica could be interesting at 4,600. Trevor Ariza, if he is out, Jeff Green, I would expect, picks up a few more minutes. You would expect his minutes to be a lot more secure if Trevor Ariza is out, so you could go there if you're looking for a value play. But I think that's it for power forward. Let's go ahead and move on to center now. Definitely want to talk about the top options here. Joel Embiid, I like a ton today at home against the Kings. Great matchup for Joel Embiid. But Andre Drummond is $1,100 cheaper. And I do really like Drummond here. I like the savings you get going down from Embiid to Drummond. Drummond's going to be a core play for me. I have a ton of interest in him in a home matchup with the Lakers. This is a spot where I played Drummond a lot last time they faced, and it didn't go that well. Drummond only put up 36 fantasy points in 32 minutes. He did do well on the glass with 16 rebounds, but he only scored 6 points. I would imagine you get a much better game out of Drummond here. His price tag has started to drop because he hasn't been playing that well lately. But we know Drummond's still going to play big minutes. Last 2 games were both blowouts. The Pistons lost both games. They played last 2 games by 30 points. So that's why Drummond's game log doesn't look great, and that's why his minutes are down. This game against the Lakers, you would imagine, is going to be competitive. So Drummond's probably going to play 36, 38 minutes. That's what he's been playing in competitive games lately. I love Andre Drummond here. In a fast pace or a pace-up spot against the Lakers where there's more possessions, more opportunity for rebounds, I think we get a 20-20 game out of Drummond. He could definitely outscore Embiid. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. So I like him a lot. I like him over LaMarcus Aldridge, Randall, Markkanen. If I'm going to those 8K centers, Andre Drummond's the guy that I want at 8,800. There are good mid-range plays here. It's hard for me to prioritize these mid-range plays because I like paying up so much for Drummond or Embiid. But a guy like Capella at 7,300, definitely don't want to overlook. Love the matchup with the Suns. I do like Capella if you want to go to him. Robin Lopez has a great matchup with the Clippers. Robin Lopez's price, though, has started to rise a lot. He's up to 5,700 on DK. Hard for me to say he's like a core play, but if I was building a lot of lineups, I would definitely get some exposure to Robin Lopez just because the matchup's so good. And he has been playing really well lately. But there is some value that I want to talk about at center. Very cheap value. 3,200, Willie Hernangomez is expected to start today. I would imagine he starts since Cody Zeller is doubtful. He's going to be a core play for me on both sites. He's the minimum on Yahoo, and he's close to the minimum on DraftKings. 10 on Yahoo and 3,200 on DK. He did start the last game for Cody Zeller. Cody Zeller missed the Hornets last game, which was against the Rockets, I believe. Hernangomez didn't play that well, but he still got 24 minutes, even though he didn't play that well. I think he did deal with a little bit of early foul trouble in that game as well. But he did put up 18 fantasy points. He wasn't very productive, but it was a terrible matchup against Clint Capella. Not a great spot for Hernangomez. Now he gets to face this Wizards team that's terrible defensively against centers that has struggled to rebound this year. This is a spot where Willie Hernangomez could easily give you 30-plus fantasy points. I expect the minutes to be there. It doesn't look like the Hornets want to give Bismack Biyombo any run. He only played like 7 or 8 minutes last game. Hernangomez, I expect, plays high 20s in minutes. He could potentially even get 30 minutes if he's playing really well. My only concern is that maybe this game goes small and you get like Marvin Williams playing center against like Jabari Parker or something playing center. There's a chance that happens, but I would say it's unlikely. I think Hernangomez, if he's playing well, should get the run and should easily be able to pay off this price tag. It's such a good matchup. It's a bounce back spot for Hernangomez. He looked really bad against the Hornets, or really bad against the Rockets, in that last game. It was a tough matchup with Capella. Now he gets to face this Wizards team that's just been getting killed by bigs this year. I love Hernangomez today as a cheap value center. You can look to. But I think that is it for center, guys, and I think that is it for the video. So hopefully you did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Or you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. Good luck tonight on this 8-game slate. Peace.